But I think I could have actually done a lot better if my feet had held up.
Or these other 6 other races that you happen to do before Western? Like, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
How you doing?
All right. A bit tired after Chase the Coyote.
That's right. We just wrapped up our final event of 2022, Chase the Coyote at Mono Cliffs.
That's why we're a bit behind in our podcasting.
And bleary-eyed.
Yeah.
Still not quite recovered from that. Well, and because I rolled my ankle at 5 a.m. offloading the truck, so...
The Coyote got you.
He sure did. But the rest of the day was great.
Yes. We had a good day on our final and 10th year of Coyote. And we go on to another chapter.
That's right.
Okay. Wow. And also, virtual runs are now happening too with We Run the North back in action.
And in fact, all of our events you can do virtually.
Yes,
so if
yes.
you missed out on any of our 5 races, you can do them virtually by heading over to GottaRunRacing.com. And we've had an uptick in registrations for We Run the North this week. I think people are thinking...
They're getting ready for the winter.
That's right. And they need some goals, which we all need goals through the winter because it's long and hard.
That's right.
That's what she said.
Oh! All right. Okay, who is on the podcast today?
Well, today we have DAWSON MOSSMAN from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Wow.
He's an ultra runner, adventurer, and avid traveler. And he's been in 3 incredibly tough and notable races this year.
And what can they be?
Well, he's done Ultra Trail Madeira.
I want to get there one day.
Yeah, you got to watch the videos on YouTube about this race. In fact, I think Norm will input some of them while we're talking to Dawson if you want to watch the video version of this chat.
Yep.
That was April.
Yes.
He got into Western while he'd already signed up for Madeira. So he did Madeira in April, Western in June. Oh, and by the way, he did UTMB in August, which was also a deferral.
Right. So this has been one incredible year, and I'm sure he's stuck in some other races in there, I think. We'll find out. But yeah, just can't wait to hear about his whole incredible year he had with Dawson coming up. Let's get on to this incredible year you had. I can't wait to talk about these 3 events. This is like a year-end, basically, podcast with you. How do you feel after all these 3 races?
Yeah, I feel awesome. It was a long year of racing. Like, it was more racing and bigger races than I normally do. So it's nice to take a little break now. I actually haven't run that much since UTMB. But it was fun. It was an awesome time traveling to all these races, and they're all so nice in their own way.
Well, it's funny because we originally reached out to you a couple years ago as part of our Western series, and I'm kind of glad that we didn't connect until now because we have more to talk about.
Yes, we have lots for this one now. Yeah.
But first, let's go back to the beginning and tell us how you even started running.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I definitely wasn't like a lifelong runner or anything like that. I kind of got into camping and hiking and stuff like that when I was in university. So I started enjoying the outdoors more. And then, started work like most people and kind of fell out of a lot of the activity and the physical exercise I used to do. So I was in my early 30s, and I always kind of had a bucket list item where I wanted to do a marathon, and it was just going to be a one and done kind of thing, and then tick it off the list. So I picked the New York City Marathon. That was going to be, might as well go big or go home. So that was going to be the one I wanted to do. And so I was like, I don't know, 33 maybe. It was probably about 10 years ago now. And I just decided one year that this was going to be the year. So I started training in the spring, did it in the fall. And then I enjoyed it. So kept on running marathons and on the roads for the next few years. And then I went away, and I was starting to get a little bit tired of the roads after a few years doing the same routes, and I ended up going away to Nepal for some climbing and hiking for a few months. And kind of so for some reason, when that trip happened, I kind of realized, like, why am I still running on the roads? I should be running on the trails now, because I enjoy the trails and the woods and the outdoors and the mountains so much. So I got back from that trip, and then that's when I started running trails, and it's just been ever since then, just kind of doing more and more of it. I really love it.
I like your hat.
Oh, my MIUT hat. Yeah.
So let's talk about this first race, which happened in April, the Madeira Ultra. Why this race? Why'd you pick this race?
I saw this race online, like just YouTube videos and things like that, and it just looked so epic. It was like almost right away I was like, I have to do this race. And just the terrain and the whole race looked awesome. Like, I love that it was just like point to point from one end of the island to the other. And so yeah, it got on my list. I mean, not immediately. I kind of had to do some other races before I was confident enough to do that one. But yeah, it was always in the back of my mind, like, I should do this one sometime. So I was actually signed up for it in 2020, and then it got delayed a couple of years because of COVID, and ended up happening this year. But yeah, that's how that one happened.
So of the 3 races that we're going to talk about, Madeira, Western, and UTMB, were they all deferrals?
Madeira and UTMB were. Western was not. I was just I wasn't expecting to do that this summer. So that was a bonus. Yeah, it was going to be just Madeira and UTMB.
Wow.
But we threw Western in as well. And after Western, I'm not sure if you knew, but I also fast packed the JMT after that, which was really cool. So it was
for our listeners, JMT is?
That's the John Muir Trail. So it starts in Yosemite and finishes on Mount Whitney, which is the highest point in the U.S. And it's just runs along like the high Sierra down there. It's about 230 miles, I think. So yeah, just a beautiful trail. Yeah.
So Western was a bonus. I'm not sure what the JMT was. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about this big list of yours, but let's get back to Madeira. Because this is a spring race, and winters in New Brunswick are, I don't know the words for it.
Relentless?
So how did you train for this spring race?
Yeah, so what I did in the winter, I do this thing called alpine touring with my skis. So, I mean, usually we try to do it in the backcountry because it's a little bit more fun. But basically, if for those that don't know about alpine touring, it's basically skiing, but then you're walking up the mountain. So you hike up the mountain with your skis on. And then you ski down, and it's fun in the backcountry because there's no lifts there, so you get to access terrain that you otherwise couldn't. But yeah, I can't go to do that every weekend, so I just do it at our local ski resort, and yeah, that's how I get my vert basically. So I'll do my runs through the week, and then on the weekend, my daughter's also skis, so we're up there every weekend anyways, and you just see me skinning up and down the ski hill all day. And yeah, it's fun. Like, sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive, but can mix it up with different speeds and stuff like that. And it's good vert training. So
you're on the start line of Madeira after this training. How did you feel at the start line that you're actually there? Wow.
Oh, it was awesome. Like Jim Walmsley and Courtney DeWalter were also in that race.
Who?
Yeah. So that was pretty cool before it even started. And I was actually standing up by the elite section of the starting corrals just so I could kind of see them come in and maybe say hi and stuff like that. So I was up there, and everybody else was back in the normal lineup, and I saw them wave, said hi, and then I kind of ran back and joined the group. But yeah, it was super exciting. It was a night start. I think it started at midnight.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of fun. They had music going, lots of lights and everything, and everybody was energized.
It looks like there's some pretty remote sections in that race with, climbing ropes, etc. What was the ratio between runnable sections and hikeable sections?
Yeah, I don't know what the ratio exactly would have been, but there were big climbs. Like I remember the climbs being quite big. I think it had around 7,000 meters of gain in 115K, so quite a bit. The climbs were steep. Like I don't think many people were running those. Like probably Walmsley was running up them, but yeah, I think all the climbs were pretty much hikes, at least for me. And the downhills were good. A lot of the downhills were super runnable. The flats were runnable, not too technical on the flat. And then there was a few technical sections, like you're saying, with some ropes and ladders and things like that you had to just make your way through. But it was actually a relatively small section of the whole course that had that sort of terrain. So it wasn't too bad. And it was so much fun going through that part anyways that I don't think anybody was really worried about whether they were running or walking that.
So now you mentioned Jim and Courtney. They only beat you by 10 hours or so that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah.
I consider that a very good day. So finishing Madeira, it gives you great confidence for Western then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good training for that. Like I was in pretty good shape after Madeira. And I actually did another ultra just a couple weeks after that before I came home in the Azores called the Ultra Blue Island. And so I did Madeira. I spent like another week on the island just exploring and hiking, and then went over to it's an island called Fayal in the Azores, and this race, Ultra Blue Island, and the route is called the Great Whalers Route, and did that race, and then came back to Canada. So it was a 118K, and not quite as much vert as Madeira, but still I think like 6,000 meters, 5,000 or 6,000 meters. So yeah, both of those races back to back, and then Western was only about a month and a half away, I think. So it was definitely good training.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now, how long had Western been on your bucket list? How many years were you working towards that?
I only had 4 tickets, so I think that's it's only 3 years, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, and then 4. Yeah, so yeah,
Lucky.
I mean, it had been on my list for a little longer than that. I knew about it since I started doing trail running, but it took me a year or so to start getting tickets built up and stuff like that. But yeah, I got kind of lucky. It was definitely a surprise. I was actually doing a race here in New Brunswick when the lottery happened, and so I finished the race, and all my friends were they already knew. Some of them had finished already, so and some of them were just crewing and stuff. So that was a cool surprise when I got over the line.
Wow.
So let's talk Western. We just came back from Western too, so I can pick your brain about how you felt. I mean, how do you think about the start line of Western? I thought it was very relaxed because there was really nobody there till about a minute before we started. What was your thoughts?
Yeah. It was. I found the whole race was a lot small, like low key, like a lot smaller, kind of more community feeling than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it would be like more of maybe like a European style race, but so I like that. Like I thought it was pretty cool. It just felt like kind of a down home type of race, only it's Western States, so that was good. The race for me, like it was good. It was a good race. My time wasn't that great. I had some foot problems later in the race with blisters and stuff like that. But I thought the course was awesome. The volunteers were amazing. And I had crew at that race too, which usually a lot of these things I do on my own. It was the first time I ever had pacers in a race, so that was super fun. Had a few of my friends join me on the course. So yeah, I had a great time.
Did heat play a factor at all for you?
I don't think so. I never felt too bad from the heat. But it was definitely hot, and
Yep.
I was pretty thankful for all the ice they had, and those soak stations at the aid stations were pretty awesome. Yeah, I think without those, it wouldn't have been too good.
No, exactly.
But I think I could have actually done a lot better if my feet had held up.
Or these 6 other races that you happened to do before Western? Like, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I did do Broken Arrow the weekend before Western as well. It's just a short race. It's only a 26K, but it was super fun. It was like a sky race, I guess, one of the only sky races in North America anyways.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of talent there.
Yeah, there's some super fast guys and gals there for sure. Yeah, I took it pretty easy because I knew Western was the following weekend, but I have a hard time resisting all these things when I go to a place. It's like I just want to do all that stuff.
Did you know about the 29-hour T-shirt?
No, I didn't know until I came across the line, and I think I was like the first finisher after 29 hours, so I was the first one to get one of those little shirts there.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's the thing. I'm wondering if you just sat down on the curb going, I'm going to wait till 29 hours to get my T-shirt.
Take a break, yeah.
But that wasn't your strategy, eh?
No, that wasn't part of the plan.
I think I saw your finish line on the camera, and you were going kind of slow on the track. You're backing off a bit.
Yeah.
I think with that race, if you can't be first, you might as well come in at the golden hour.
Yeah, the golden hour was
might
amazing.
as well. Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, I think I was just a few seconds after, like maybe 50 seconds after the golden hour, and it was pretty cool. Like, it's neat coming onto the track, and when I came on, there was nobody else on there, so the girl was running beside me with the camera and just, talking. I could kind of hear her saying stuff about me or whatever the whole time. So it was a pretty neat experience.
Would you go back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll go in. I'll put my name in the lottery again. I usually don't. Like most other races, there's so many out there that I want to do that I usually do them once, and then I want to try something different. But I think with Western, it's one of the ones I would do again. It was a lot of fun, and I think I could do a lot better as well.
Yeah, you probably could take 1 minute off your time to not get the golden hour.
Oh man!
Well, that's fantastic. So we banged off 2 races right now. Let's talk about the Olympics of ultra running, which is UTMB. Again, how did it feel at the start line of UTMB now?
Yeah, UTMB was crazy. Like so many people. That was the biggest thing I remember at the start line is just like there was people everywhere, literally. Like it's a pretty small, if you've been to Chamonix, it's a pretty small little town. And you got these streets that are small and they're windy and going all over the place. And even when runners were at the start line, it wasn't just like one corral or one lineup of runners. They're like going all over the place, like up the side streets and like so the running start was just like felt like half the village or half the town was like runners coming from everywhere going towards the starting arch. So that was pretty cool, and that was different. And then the music they played at the beginning, like just that music gets you pumped up pretty good. So, and the people too, like the number of people watching was crazy. Like I think before that, the most I had ever had was the New York City Marathon. There was like parts of that where it's like 5 or 6 people deep on the sides watching, but UTMB had people like right from the railings where the runners were going, like all the way back to the buildings. And it was like 10 people deep kind of thing on both sides. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we are going to be there next year. I got into UTMB, so
Awesome.
we're gonna focus on this race here.
Yeah, congratulations. You'll love it.
I understand that the first climb is hard, but the second climb is much harder than the first. Is that right?
Yeah. The first is just like a little bump, but second one's bigger. It's so funny when you look at the elevation profile for these things that, like, especially UTMB, all the climbs look like just so small, like little climbs, and they're all big. Like, that's the problem. None of them are small. But yeah, the first one wasn't too bad, and you're pretty fresh, so that one goes over pretty quick. And second one's definitely bigger, and then they just kind of get bigger. They feel bigger, at least, from there on out.
Were you ever alone on the course, Dawson, or were you always surrounded? It's not like within 20, 50 meters kind of thing.
Yeah, mostly there was people around the entire time. There was a few times where I was alone, like, and it might have lasted a few kilometers, but usually at night. But for the most part, there was people. I could see people. Yeah.
I love seeing when we watch the European videos of UTMB and Zagama, when you see the runners, climbing up the hill and the crowds just kind of coming in on them like you see at Tour de France. Was it like that?
It was a couple times. Like, there was one time it was exactly like that. I think it was Saint Gervais was one of the, not the first little town we went through after Chamonix, but the second one was Saint Gervais. And I think it was around 20 or 25K. So it was night when I got there. I think it was starting to get dark, 9 or 10 o'clock. And it was just like an electric atmosphere in that town. Like, there was people out everywhere, and there was young like guys in their 20s or whatever drinking beer, and everybody was just having a good time. And they made one of those big, like, human tunnels like that, and so you're just running like right through it. It was really cool.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
Now you finished in 42 hours and change. When you crossed the finish line, were you sad that it's over? This is over now?
No, not really. I think I was happy it was over. But it was the whole race. I really liked the experience. Like, the people were great. The scenery was awesome. And having some friends and family there was good too. So it was a great experience, like all of these are. My quads were pretty bad in this one. Like, I think that's the thing that caught up with me in UTMB. I think even there's a big pass. I don't remember the name of it now, but the highest pass on the course. After that, there's a long downhill. I think it's like 20 or 25K of mostly like continuous downhill.
Yep.
And then you come into Champex Lac, I think, is the next aid station where there's crew. It's around 130K. And by that point, my quads were already pretty trash. So the last like 40K, I was pretty slow. Like, the uphills were fine, but the downhills, I was like just shuffling along. So yeah, I was happy to get done by the end of it.
And no buckle. How did you feel about that?
No buckle and no medal either. So
I didn't.
It was just a T-shirt, right?
Yeah, we got like it was a nice Hoka vest, like a fleece vest that said UTMB finisher. So it's nice, but it was kind of different not to have something to set up on the shelf.
Now, have you had any thoughts about doing a stage race?
Yeah, for sure. I've done one already. I did the half marathon de Sable in Peru.
Oh yes, that's right.
Across the Ica Desert. Yeah. So, I liked it. I've been thinking about stage races for a while. Like, I think I will eventually want to do more of those. There's still some races on my list that I'd like to knock off, that are not stage races, but yeah, definitely like Fire and Ice in Iceland looks pretty cool. Marathon de Sable could be pretty cool to do. So
Yeah, how do you
there's
top
lots
all
of-
this stuff? You did Western and UTMB, which are obviously the biggest. How do you top these races? Like,
Yeah.
what's out there? That's the
This will be a tough year to top all those things in one year. That'll be a tough one, but there's always like different cool adventures out there, right? And I think that's one of the interesting things about stage races is it's almost more of like an adventure type of thing than an actual race. And you get to go to some pretty remote areas, which is really interesting. So yeah, that's intriguing about those sorts of races. I think maybe like when I get like older, like that's what I keep telling myself as like you only have to do 40 or 60 or 70K a day for the long stages. So I feel like those can kind of wait a little bit longer, and I'll just get a few more of these ones under my belt and then do something.
only.
Yeah.
Well, I like the way your mind works. I like the ultra mind.
Yeah.
And hopefully you get into hard rock sooner than later, because that's a bit of a beast.
Yeah, it looks like it anyways. Yeah, I'd like to do it. The scenery looks awesome. And it's probably like the last like there's lots of nice races in North America, but for me that's like the last really big one that I'd like to do. And then there's tons of other cool races around the world that look really interesting too.
What about Badwater?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really
We
on my
stumped you.
high list.
Finally.
Yeah. For me, it's a lot of road running, and I prefer like being up in the mountains and the single track and that sort of thing more.
Yeah.
And so yeah, not high on my list.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do next. You have a long career, hopefully, and all these races you're going to bang off around the world. I can't wait to see what you do next.
And also, I have never been east of Quebec City, even though I've traveled pretty extensively through the world. So we have a plan to hit the Maritimes and be there for a while. So we're
Awesome.
definitely going to look you up. Show us
Yes.
your
Yeah, show us some
trails that you
trails.
train on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And,
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome because we know how beautiful it is out there, but we just haven't. To be honest, I felt like it's one of those places I could wait till I was older to visit. But I am older now, so I don't have an excuse.
Yeah, definitely come out and I can show you around. We've got lots of nice trails here, so that'd be a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much, Dawson. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. And if you're coming this way, definitely look me up.
We will, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. And good luck with the next, whatever it may be.
Yeah, good luck next year with whatever you got planned.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on. Not too many plans yet. We'll see what happens to the lotteries in the next couple months. And yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks again. And we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
Okay. Bye.
Wow. You know what? He's got the ultra look.
Yeah, and the bug for 5 years of ultra running. He's done a lot of races.
Oh my gosh.
Big ones too.
Yeah, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. But that's incredible, the fact that he likes to travel. Hey, why not? Just destination races. That's the key.
Absolutely.
What-
And we're going to make New Brunswick a destination race one day.
Cheers.
Bye.